I want to give a special welcome to our distinguished guest speakers, Sarah Leah Whitson and Sue Turton. Both of them, thank you. Both of them have decades of experience in this field, bravely reckoning with the dark side of power. And I can't think of two other people who would be more right for this particular evening. And it's an honor for me to share the platform with you. Of course, the planned assassination of Jamal Khashoggi was a state crime of the most grotesque and ghastly event inside an embassy in Istanbul, the Saudi embassy. And what it highlights is the Saudi regime's disregard for human rights norms and for international law. It also highlights, up to now, the impunity that they flaunt. It's important to remember that this crime was part of a pattern. There are two Saudi critics who are probably alive today because they refused invitations to go to embassies in Canada and in Germany. Then there are three princes who were kidnapped in Morocco and France, and they have joined the large numbers, the unknown numbers of disappeared inside the kingdom. Now, that terrible death of one man briefly got a lot of international attention. It got that attention because the journalists who were his colleagues and remain feeling like his colleagues made absolutely sure to write, to speak, to do films, and everything that could possibly be done to support his memory and to work towards some kind of non-impunity. Sporadically, and again only too briefly, we have the question of the Yemen war. The Saudi-led coalition is responsible for one of the great crimes, war crimes of our time, in which 100,000 people have been killed. We especially need to remember that here in Britain, where our government's complicity is well known and not talked about nearly enough. And I want to quote a Labour MP, Lloyd Russell Moyle, who's a member of the House of Commons Committee on Arms Export Controls, and this is how he put it. Our government has enabled Saudi Arabia to destroy the social fabric of an entire country for money. Now, while we hold these two issues in our mind this evening, I want to ask you too to think of another individual person who is a symbol both of the Saudi regime's unacceptable attitude to women and their attitude to the normalization of torture. I'm sure you all know the name of 29-year-old Loujain El-Hathloul. She's been imprisoned for more than a year, and on the rare visit she's had with her parents, she's told them she's been in solitary confinement, beaten, waterboarded, given electric shocks, sexually harassed, and threatened with rape and murder. This summer, she was offered freedom if she would make a video denying that she was tortured. Her brother, who is in Canada, wrote this recently. When the state security asked her to sign the document for the video release, my baby sister immediately ripped the document. She told them, by asking me to sign this document, you're involved in the cover-up, and you're simply trying to defend Saud al-Qahtani, who was overseeing the torture. Mr. Qahtani, as you know, a former top advisor to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, was removed from his post after he was implicated in the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Now, a year from now, the annual summit of the G20 nations is due to be hosted by Saudi Arabia. Now, those leaders of 20 powerful countries who attend, they will be attending and shaming the memory of Jamal and ignoring the wrenching experiences of Lou Jane and so many other Saudi victims of human rights abuse. Now, contrary to what those leaders might like to believe, the law is not optional. It's not optional for any society today. Now, lawyers and journalists, like our two speakers, have far-reaching voices, and they speak, I know they speak, for a wider world which cares more about justice and peace and is not intimidated by money and power. So now I want to welcome, with great pleasure, our first speaker, Sarah Leah Whitson. I'm sure you mostly know she's a leading voice on all these issues. She's an American lawyer, a graduate of the University of California, Berkeley, and of Harvard. And she's currently Executive Director of Human Rights Watch North Africa and Middle Eastern Division, where she's worked since 2004. She's led dozens of advocacy and investigative missions throughout the region. And she focuses on all the issues that bring us together tonight. She's written many, many papers, given endless interviews, written so many op-eds for many newspapers. And I know that she is a guiding inspiration for many of us here. Thank you for coming.